Imagine waking up one day to find out that the world you thought you knew is completely different. The map you've always trusted is just a rough sketch, and the edges of the map, marked with warnings of sea monsters and uncharted territories, are actually the beginning of a vast, undiscovered world. This is the reality that Ferdinand Magellan, a man who would become one of the greatest explorers of all time, faced in the early 16th century. His journey would not only change the way people understood the world, but also push the boundaries of human endurance and perseverance. On a Monday in September 1519, in the bustling Spanish seaport of Sanlúcar de Barrameda, Magellan stood at the edge of the known world, preparing to lead a fleet of 5 small ships into the unknown. The ships, named San Antonio, Trinidad, Concepcion, Victoria, and Santiago, were not the grand galleons one might expect for such a monumental task. They were modest, barely seaworthy vessels, but Magellan had ensured that every plank and rope was in the best possible condition. He was a man of precision, a detail-oriented commander who understood the importance of preparation in the face of the unknown. Ferdinand Magellan was not a physically imposing man. Born into a lower noble family in Portugal, he was short, stocky, and had a leathery complexion from years spent at sea. His black beard was wild, and his eyes, large and brooding, often seemed lost in thought. He carried the scars of battle, a broken nose from a long-forgotten brawl, and a pronounced limp from a lance wound he received in Morocco. Despite his unimpressive appearance, Magellan was a man of extraordinary vision and determination. He was meticulous in his planning, stoic in his demeanor, and fiercely ambitious. He believed in heroism and the romantic ideals of chivalry, a rare trait in the brutal world of 16th century exploration. Magellan's journey was not just a physical voyage. It was a quest driven by a deep-seated curiosity about the world. As a young man, he had read the works of ancient travelers like Giovanni del Pian del Carpini, who had journeyed to the heart of Asia, and Marco Polo, whose tales of the Orient had captivated the imagination of Europe. These stories fueled his desire to explore the unknown and discover the secrets of the world. But Magellan's vision went beyond just exploration. He believed that he could achieve something that no one had ever done before: circumnavigate the globe. The journey began with high hopes and a sense of adventure. The crew, made up of men from various parts of Europe, was a diverse group, each bringing their own skills and experiences to the expedition. Magellan's leadership was crucial, and he worked tirelessly to maintain morale and ensure the safety of his men. The initial leg of the journey was challenging, with rough seas and unpredictable weather, but the fleet managed to make it to the Canary Islands, where they restocked and prepared for the long voyage across the Atlantic. As they sailed west, the challenges multiplied. Food and water supplies began to dwindle, and scurvy, a disease caused by a lack of vitamin C, started to take its toll on the crew. Magellan's strict rationing and leadership helped keep the men alive, but tensions began to rise. Some of the crew members, particularly those on the San Antonio, grew restless and began to question the wisdom of continuing the voyage. Magellan's iron will and determination kept the expedition on course, but the strain was evident. The fleet eventually reached the coast of South America, where they encountered the native peoples and traded for food and supplies. Magellan's diplomatic skills helped establish peaceful relations with the locals, but the journey was far from over. The real challenge lay ahead: the search for a passage through the South American continent that would lead to the Pacific Ocean. This passage, which Magellan eventually discovered and named the Strait of Magellan, was a bottleneck of treacherous waters and unpredictable currents. The fleet spent months navigating the strait, facing constant threats of shipwreck and mutiny. Once they emerged into the Pacific Ocean, the true magnitude of their challenge became apparent. The vastness of the ocean was beyond anything they had imagined, and the journey to the Moluccas, the spice islands they sought, seemed endless. The crew faced starvation, disease, and the constant threat of mutiny. Magellan's leadership was put to the ultimate test, and he showed remarkable resilience and ingenuity. He used his knowledge of navigation and the stars to guide the fleet through the unknown waters, and his unwavering belief in the mission kept the men going. Tragically, Magellan would not see the completion of the voyage he had initiated. In 1521, while the fleet was exploring the Philippines, Magellan was killed during a battle with local tribes. His death was a devastating blow to the expedition, but his legacy lived on through the leadership of Juan Sebastián Elcano, who took command of the remaining ships and completed the circumnavigation of the globe. The return of the Victoria to Spain in 1522, with only a fraction of the original crew, was a moment of triumph and tragedy. The journey had taken 3 years, and the world was forever changed. The first successful circumnavigation of the globe proved that the Earth was indeed round and opened up new routes for trade and exploration. Magellan's voyage marked the beginning of a new era in human history, one where the boundaries of the known world were continuously expanding. Ferdinand Magellan's legacy is not just about the physical journey he undertook, but also about the spirit of exploration and the human quest for knowledge. He was a man who dared to dream big and was willing to risk everything to achieve his goals. His story is a reminder that the greatest discoveries often come from the most unlikely sources, and that the human spirit is capable of achieving the seemingly impossible. In a world where the edges of the map are no longer marked with warnings of sea monsters, and the unknown is often just a click away, Magellan's journey remains a powerful symbol of human curiosity and perseverance. He showed that the greatest adventures are not just about reaching a destination, but about the journey itself and the lessons learned along the way. For a teenager, Magellan's story is a call to embrace the unknown, to challenge the limits of what is known, and to believe in the power of dreams and determination.